All right. Well, we're here today with the world's strongest man. Amazing job getting that title. That is a really exclusive thing to get, a tough thing to get. The competition level has been driven through the roof over the years. There's just more and more people come into that sport. And over the last several years, it's been kind of going back and forth between several people. You got obviously Sadrunas Savickas, who's considered the greatest of all time. You got Brian Shaw, who's won it 4 times. You got Eddie Hall, who won a championship as well. And then you were able to get one in there. Let's back everything up and let's start from the beginning. What was your childhood like? Were you always attracted to strength, or did you play other sports?
First of all, thanks for having me, Mark. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
In the beginning of my childhood, I didn't play a lot of sport until I was maybe how old was I? I was 13 years old when I started to play basketball, and played that till I was 17. Was pretty good, I would say. I always wanted to be good, and I tried very hard, but I broke my wrist, ankle twice, and I had to pull out. Decided to take a break for a year because I was always injuring myself, which can be very frustrating when you're trying to become a good athlete in your sport. I was always hurting it, but I broke it twice. So in my second surgery, I decided to take a break, start to lift weights more, which I always had interest in, but with all the running, I couldn't really gain a lot of size.
Right.
So with the break I took this year, was just supposed to be a year,
Yeah.
Ended up to be pretty long year. I saw very dramatic, gains in the first year. I got stronger each year, each month, day. Like I got in love with lifting weights very fast. So
His strength. I know, Iceland is known for its strength, and it's not a huge country, but it produces a lot of strong athletes, a lot of great athletes, and a lot of the females that have won CrossFit Games world titles are from Iceland. What is it about the country? Is there something in the heritage, or is it like something that's done traditionally that makes people strong, or is it mindset?
I think it's like definitely a lot of different, things that play a big role in it. The people had to be very tough to be able to live in the condition in Iceland. It wasn't easy to live there back in the old days. So the strongest people survived, and I think also we are a small nation with only 300,000 people. We live in this big island. We want to stand out. We want to make our country proud of us.
Right.
So we try very hard to do well in sports. There's not a lot of things to really do during the winters as well. It gets very cold, dark. So I think people as well, they just get in the zone and they just eat, sleep, and train. A lot of people, not obviously everyone, but the athletes for sure do that. They just get in the mindset. They just train, eat, and sleep.
Are a lot of people there health conscious? Like, here in the United States, if you're in like Los Angeles or San Francisco or some of these bigger cities, people might be kind of health conscious. But if you're in the middle of our country, that's where you'll see a lot of obesity, a lot of people not paying attention to what they eat. What's Iceland like?
Yeah, I think, it's like overall, if you look at the population, people are, getting more and more into the health, thinking more about the body and, thinking more about themselves. But if you just look like, not just 20 years ago, it wasn't like that. It's getting better and better each year.
Do you have other family members? You got brothers, sisters, and things like that?
I got 2 sisters.
And are they tall?
They are for like women.
Right.
They are tall, but not giants like myself.
Where did this come from? A family heritage at all, or just a random selection?
Yeah, my father, he's tall like me, and
He's about the same height?
About the same height.
Wow.
And then he has 3 other brothers. They're all similar height as well.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, and then my grandfather, his father, he is like same height as well.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in the genes.
Is there some old stories about how strong some of these guys were back in the day, like just doing construction work or things around the house or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, my grandfather, he lived in a farm for over 30 years. So my dad and his brother, they all got raised on a farm,
Right.
like most of their childhood, So they were all they were hardworking guys. They worked a lot, woke up early
Right.
and worked throughout the day. So they were all pretty strong, They had to, lift different things,
Right.
and there are, stories with my father, lifting big stones, in the farm, just playing around. Are pretty unique, That so it's definitely in the genes, definitely with the height and strength. I think, just
Yeah.
like natural, just strong guys.
Was that something as a young kid maybe you admired, seeing your dad like just being so big and like picking up heavy shit? Maybe you were like, oh my God.
Yeah, definitely. I remember my dad was always in great shape. When I was young, he looked good, He didn't train, but his body was just very well shaped.
Right.
He had abs, bicep, tricep, chest. He just looked very good.
That's
And
awesome.
most of the guys did because they were hardworking guys.
Yeah.
They worked on a farm and they were built nice. So I remember, I remember my dad like that. I think looking back, I mean, I didn't realize it when I was young, but looking back, I think that's, inspired me. Like, I want to look like my dad. He looks cool. He's a cool dude. So, yeah.
Is your dad still around today?
Yeah, he is still around today. We are best friends. We talk every day.
What does he think of you winning the World's Strongest Man championship?
He supports me a lot.
Yeah.
Comes to most of my shows.
That's great.
He's very proud, and he's a very great guy.
That's really cool. When some people come on this podcast and sometimes they'll say they had no support from their parents, I'm always like, man, that must be really tough, because I always felt like I always had good support and I always had good love in my family.
Yeah, same here. I'm very happy with everything I have behind me. My parents, my family, my sisters. It's not something is given. I'm just very fortunate, that I have such a great family behind me, and it has definitely helped me achieve my goals and helped me to push me. When you see the people that you love behind your back and they come to your competitions, you wanna push harder, and each training session, each meal that you're like thinking about, you're doing it not just for you. Obviously, it's for you, but you're thinking about the people that you love as well. You want to make them proud.
Do you feel happy with yourself? Like a lot of times people win stuff and it doesn't necessarily always maybe give them exactly what they want. Maybe it doesn't always fulfill everything inside. Do you feel good? Do you feel good about yourself?
I do, yeah. I am very happy with myself.
That's great.
with this year and everything that's going on in my life. But I'm not done yet.
Right.
I still have fire inside of me. I still wanna win more titles. It's not like I just won and I'm just like, oh, it's done. I'm finished. I'm happy. I'm just gonna retire. It's not like that. I probably have more fire inside of me now than ever before.
Oh, that's great.
I wanna become even better, and I wanna, every aspects of life. I just wanna push myself and see how far I can go.
A lot of people don't realize that sometimes, when you're going towards a goal, you can go at it with everything that you have. you could put in all the effort in the world and you can have the food right and your sleep right, and still at the end of the day, damn it, there's somebody else getting the first place trophy. And you've had that happen several times, you know, at the Arnold and at the World's Strongest Man. What have you learned from some of those things?
Yeah, definitely it doesn't feel like a long journey to me, but when I look back, I was 6 times on the podium before I won it, you know, at the World's Strongest Man, three times third, 3 times second.
Yeah.
And what I've learned throughout those years is hard work pays off. Being consistent and never, you know, giving up. You know, throughout my career, I've been quite busy. I got involved in Game of Thrones. I got that part quite soon.
Everybody loves that.
Quite soon in my career, so I got quite busy. Like it wasn't just strongman. I was traveling around the world, doing all kinds of stuff, commercials, filming for Game of Thrones, you know, movies, whatever, you know. So I've been busy, but I managed to make it work together, you know. This year was very good for me because most of the filming was after World's Strongest Man. Oh. So that's the first year I've managed to film most of my, you know, shooting days after World's Strongest Man. So that worked out great for me. I had some filming days, but not a lot. You know, most of the filming days were after World's Strongest Man, and some of the days were up to 18 hours of work, which is crazy. You can't really train any properly when you're like shooting that long of days.
Yeah. Yeah, and people they don't understand, you know, strongman training is pretty specific. You can go in the gym, you can lift some weights, and that can help transfer over to strongman, but without the implements and stuff, you can really be at a disadvantage, right? If you don't have some of the things around that you need.
For sure. You can, you know, work on your like strength, you know, just like the, you know, overhead presses, deadlift, squats, you know, you can work on your, you know, basic, you know, strength. But being a good strongman isn't just showing up in the gym and doing heavy squats and deadlifts. You have to, you know, learn the events, you know, and it's a lot about technique as well, you know. You have to find the best way to make the events work for you, you know, and you know, after, you know, it's to become the best in the world, you have to be good at everything. Yeah. So you have to train everything, and we usually don't know the events until maybe 8 weeks before. Not even it depends really, you know. So it's you have to, like, throughout the year, you have to train everything basically.
Do you feel like at some point when you were finishing second and third that maybe you were also maybe paying attention to what the other guys were doing? Maybe like Eddie Hall would hit a big lift. You know, Instagram's a big thing, and you see all these lifts now, and Eddie obviously had a big deadlift and everything. You sometimes see some of the things the other guys do, and maybe you were enticed by that, and maybe it steered your training the wrong way, or?
No, I never was concerned of what the other guys were doing. I was always just focusing on myself, working with my coach, you know, working on my goals, working on getting myself better. I like to post videos on my social media for my fans to keep them happy, you know. But I'm just here trying to get myself better.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried about what the other guys are doing.
That's an excellent way of looking at it. And I saw some of the lifts that you were doing, you know, going into World's Strongest Man. And I think a lot of people that follow strongman training and just follow strength training in general, sometimes they'll look at somebody and they'll go, wow, like either this is just part of his training and he's just really, really incredibly strong, or he's peaking too early. You know, I saw you squat 900 in training, which I've never seen anybody, you know, over 6'5", I don't think, squat over even 800 pounds, much less 900 pounds. So that was a remarkable feat. And then I think an 881 deadlift for some reps, maybe 3 or 4 reps or something like that. And it looked pretty, whatever the case was, I just remember it all looked pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I remember in talking to Stan, because Stan was getting with you at the time, he's like, yeah, I don't know. I said, look, Stan, how much do you and I know about strongman training? He's like, we don't know anything about it. I said, that's right. I said, probably just leave that up to his coach. But I said, if you look at the lifts, they look like they're done pretty easy. So in my opinion, from what I saw, it didn't even look like they were real maxes for you anyway, even though they were heavy. Mm-hmm. Is that how they felt, or did they feel like they were?
Yeah, you're definitely right. I never train, when I'm preparing for a contest, I never train to failure. I always have more left in the tank. And that was always the case, in all of those videos that I put up there, I always had more in the tank. I never trained to failure, and it was all planned out weeks before, I had it written out on papers, and each week was planned, Obviously, you make some changes throughout the weeks if something happens or something.
Yeah, you audible, switch things up.
Yeah, but everything was planned. I felt very good. I was very consistent, dedicated with my training, diet, and everything. So everything felt great. Just training and everything was just perfect.
With that amount of training, do you need some like down weeks? Like you're squatting real heavy and deadlifting real heavy, and then probably working on some of the events and stuff. How does some of that work as you're going into the contest?
Yeah, I think everyone is different. With their body, how they recover to training and everything. I think. My body does recover quite nicely with training, but obviously, after, heavy sets of deadlift and squats like I was doing there, you have weeks where you're doing a little bit of lighter sessions. But my lighter weeks were still heavy for a lot of people, I was doing maybe, I can't remember it, but, let's say if I did 420, like 400 kilos, like, squat for two reps. The next week I did maybe 350 for 5 reps.
Right.
It was still heavy, but it wasn't crazy heavy for me. But the numbers are big.
Yeah, allowed your nervous system to probably recover and then carry into the next workout.
Yeah.
Do you think conditioning plays a big role in it? Because it seems like you got to be in shape enough to be able to handle kind of the brutality of each workout.
Yeah, for sure. I think it does play a big role. I'm a big fan of 10 minutes walk after my meals,
Yeah.
Getting the blood moving and stuff like that. And I'm also a big fan of hot and cold. I have a hot and cold tub, at home, and I use that a lot for my recovery, and I think it works great for me at least, so I'm able to push myself even further. So I think a lot about how can I recover myself so I can train even harder. How can I push myself, or what can I do to become better? Like in any way. Like it's not like I'm just eating 6 meals a day and just training 2 hours a day. It's a lot of other things involved that I'm doing to making sure that I'm getting as strong as possible and I'm recovering as fast as possible.
Stan's not the first person to ever do it, but he was somebody that brought that mentality into powerlifting. And he's somebody that brought that mentality to some of the strongman athletes as well, where it was like when Stan came into powerlifting, he took the straight up mindset that he had from bodybuilding, which bodybuilding is a 24-hour process. You have your lifting, you have your cardio, but then the nutrition is a huge part. And then without the sleep, you're really shooting yourself in the foot because the food's not working properly for you if you're not sleeping, and the training's certainly not really doing anything. And if you're trying to burn fat or gain muscle or gain strength, sleep is kind of where it all starts, And Stan brought that approach in, and I know he's helped you with your diet and stuff. Do you think that ended up being a huge factor in some of your changes and PRs and stuff too?
100%. It helped me a lot. I'm very, it helped me a lot. He taught me a lot about, how important the sleep is, and also with the diet, he was like kind of at some points, he like we started to work together 2 years ago, and having him around, guy that knows, he's very, he knows what he's saying. So all the tips and everything I got from him, worked out great. I loved it, and I love it. He's a great guy, and it worked out great for me. And I'm still on his diet. Still using my CPAP like he was nagging me to do. I never actually I have hard time sleeping because of my size.
Yeah.
But after I got used to using my CPAP, the sleeping machine, it totally changed the game.
Right.
And he was the one who was always nagging me about that. Hafþór, you have to make sure you're getting your sleep. Have to make sure you sleep with it. And I think that was also a big factor. Obviously the diet, but also the sleep. Sleep part. I wasn't sleeping very great before. Always waking up a couple of times a night, probably 3-4 times. Now, I wake up maybe once, twice maximum to pee or something. But I'm sleeping better. I wake up fresher, feeling better. So that was a big factor for me. That changed the game.
Anyone that's listening to this, it's a good sign when you go to work out, and you, like, a lot of guys are into like taking tons of like pre-workout and getting all hyped up and crazy for their workouts, and to each their own. Do your thing, right? But if you are still doing all that and you're taking stimulants and trying to get yourself all fired up, and there's nothing there to draw from, then your nutrition is not on point, or your sleep. And that's something I learned too over the years, is like that my sleep was really poor. I think I'd sleep for 2 hours at a time if I was lucky when I was heavier. And it was just, I'd go to the gym. I had every intention of doing the best that I possibly could. I wanted to put everything I could into those workouts, but I couldn't. Just like, it just felt like I just didn't feel fresh enough, didn't feel like strong enough. And then, sure enough, like 2 weeks later, I'd get a little bit better sleep, and the workout would be through the roof. It'd be a lot better. And so that was made a huge impact on me as well. As you were traveling and stuff, has a lot of that stuff changed? 'Cause I know Stan is really adamant about the meal prep, and eating your bison and your rice and getting all these certain foods in. What did it look like before you met Stan? Would you kind of just grab a burrito or grab something on the run, or?
Yeah, it definitely changed as well. I never traveled with my CPAP, or never, I tried to, meal prep food with me and tried things, but I wasn't as consistent as I am today. He helps me a lot with the meals as well, getting those when I'm traveling, and wherever I'm going these days, I always take my CPAP. That's the first thing I do. I'm packing my bag, making sure my CPAP is there. That's the first thing,
Yeah.
If I don't have it, I'm not sleeping. That's just the case. I would just buy it. So if I would forget it, I would just figure out to get it. That's the case. I can't sleep without it today. And also with the meals, I can't, I just get frustrated and angry if I don't have my meals. I have to have my meals.
Yeah.
It's just part of me today.
Right.
To eat, and he taught me that. He taught me to be this consistent.
You're a professional. It's like, if you just think about it this way, let's say we were hanging out with like Conor McGregor, right? And if Conor McGregor has a fight coming up and he's just sitting there eating some Chipotle, you're thinking like, and he's sipping on like a Diet Coke. In your head, you're thinking, man, he's not really doing everything that he can to be the best. Or if you see, one of these dudes, they're out till 2 a.m. partying or whatever. It's like, well, that guy said he wanted to be the best, but I don't think so. Yeah, he's not actually following through with the action. And that gets to be the hard thing. I'm sure before you met Stan and before you met your strength coach, what's his name, the Australian strength coach?
Sebastian Orup.
Yeah, before you met some of these guys, I'm sure you were highly dedicated and putting as much into it as you thought possible. But then these guys kind of show you like another level.
Yeah, I mean, I was dedicated before I met them, but having those guys around, great guys, pushed me to the next level.
I think Stan mentioned something about like maybe at the Arnold or something. He was like shopping for food for you and like pillows or something. Like I don't even remember what it was, but just making sure you're comfortable.
Yeah, making sure I have everything I need, all the meals I need, and just making sure I'm on point in my game. It's very good to have him on my team, and he's helped me a lot to achieve my goals. Both of those guys, Sebastian Orban and Stan everything.
What about like massages and stuff? You got to do a lot of that too?
I'm not a big fan of massages,
I never personally got a ton out of them either, to be honest.
No, but like I said before, I do a lot of hot and cold. A lot of hot and cold. Like in my preparation, when I'm like just focused and full forced into it, I'm probably doing hot and cold minimum 3 times a week.
Yeah. And that's not easy to do, but you probably got used to it though, right?
I got used to it. Sometimes even more. Some weeks, like I did it just 5 times a week, I was just very dedicated. Like before I went to sleep, like 10 o'clock, I just went hot, cold, like four sets or five sets, depending on how I felt, and just went straight to bed. I just got knocked out.
Has there ever been a time, like as you were progressing and as you were going through all this and pushing as hard as you can, have there ever been a time where you just kind of were super frustrated? Like, man, I feel like I'm doing everything I can, but fuck, I don't know what to do next to get better. You ever feel like stuck or kind of anxiety about trying to get to that next level sooner?
Maybe in the early in my career, I was expecting too much too soon of myself. But nowadays, I understand, if you want to be successful, you have to work hard. You have to be consistent. And when I'm very consistent, when I'm working very hard, I will see the results. They are going to come. And you just have to follow the program. And when you follow the program, step by step, day by day, month by month, then you see progress. Happens every year for me now.
Right.
The past few years, I'm always getting stronger, better. I haven't been getting weaker, so that's great.
Right.
And you also have to have the mind right. You have to believe that you can become the best in whatever you want to be. Like if you want to be best swimmer in the world, or best football player, or best powerlifter, or whatever, you have to believe that you can become the best. If you don't believe it, then I can't see myself. I've always believed in myself, and I always, nothing is impossible for me. If I wanna do something, I can't do it, and I always tell myself I can't do those things. Like if someone says, "Thor, can you squat 1,000 pounds?" I say, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I can. I can do that. Fuck yeah. I just need the time and preparation."
Yeah, probably. I mean, honestly, if you prepped for it, maybe gained a little weight, probably wouldn't even be hard.
Yeah, I mean, my plan this year was to squat 1,000, but then I was just speaking to my coach. I was actually speaking about it to Stan and Sebastian at the time, and they both agreed that it wasn't necessary for me to go heavier on the squats. I was already strong enough.
Right.
I wanted to work more on my deadlift, so I took the squat a little bit. I went down a little bit on that area and focused more on the events, my deadlift and my overhead press.
How much you bench press?
I don't really like. There's
overheads and stuff. Yeah,
there's a bench press in my program, right. But the stronger I get, the more I go to like incline bench press, and then it goes up like higher, and
right.
I've done. I can't even remember the numbers. Like I've done 220 for 8 reps, quite comfortable. kg. I've done. I haven't done 1 rep bench in a long time, like max when I'm like very strong.
Right.
I'm usually when I'm getting this strong, I'm working on bench. It's more like 4 rep of range or even higher. I'm not.
And mainly to work the triceps or something for the lockout, for the log and stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, the risk to reward on some of these exercises just isn't worth it. You blow out a pec, and you tear a pec, and you're gone for a whole year. Take a really long time to recover from that, and then who knows what complications might happen after that. So you got to be careful with the selection of exercises. Do you like to do any bodybuilding? Do you like just for like hypertrophy's sake? Do you go in and like train arms or shoulders and like actually get like blood into the area, or you don't do anything like that?
I do that, like after a long travel, maybe I want to hit the gym, but I'm not really there to hit a big, session. Right. Then I walk in the gym and I do some like body pump, just to get the blood moving and feeling better, yeah.
Is it fun being world's strongest man? Like when you run into different people going through the airport and they say, "What do you do?" Like rather than even saying you're a competitor, you can just kind of flat out say, "Well, I'm the world's strongest man." Yes. It's got to feel really good to be able to say that.
It is a nice feeling, and I've said it a couple of times, obviously. And it's great, because I'm a big dude, and if people don't know me and they're maybe talking to me and they ask me, "Dude, what do you do? Are you a professional wrestler, or
Yeah.
And I tell them I am the world's strongest man, and they're like, it's a good feeling to say it. So I don't hesitate. I'm just I put it straight out there.
They're probably just like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
That's pretty awesome. Has there ever been times in your life, professionally, I know you've been, chasing after some success outside of the strongman arena. Has there ever been times where you've been like depressed or had anxiety just about, the type of work that you're going to do or your future or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, everyone, we're all human, and I've been depressed before and, have a lot of anxiety and stuff like that. Actually, late last year, wasn't great for me, and didn't feel very great, but I always believe, when you overstep something hard, something difficult, that's going on in your life, you become better. You become stronger. And there were a time in my life where I've just, fuck it, I can't do this. It's just too difficult. Just too much going on and stuff like that. And I felt like just giving up. But then you think about your family and just yourself. You're not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. I wanna, So it's like you make a decision, and with the decision, you become so much more dedicated.
Yeah, the dialogue that you have to yourself sounds like it's very healthy. You said earlier that can I squat 1,000 pounds? You can start to take those questions outside of lifting. Can I make more money than I did last year? It could be anything. You could set your mind to pick any type of goal, and the answer is yes. Like there's always room to get better. Mm-hmm. You look at like someone like The Rock or someone like Tom Cruise, and you'd say, can Tom Cruise get better at his trade? He would say, yeah, of course I can. It's going to take time. You'd ask The Rock, say, do you think you could handle doing more work or more of this or more of that? Mm-hmm. He'd probably say, yeah, I just need to figure out, how to schedule it or whatever, and done deal. Like, I think we all have areas where we can improve, and I think that's great that you shared that. So you kind of worked yourself through that by kind of thinking about your family and thinking about some of those things about your own like morals and values placed on not being a quitter.
Yeah, for sure. There's a reason why people are successful, because they believe in themselves, and they work hard. Success doesn't come with laziness.
Right.
It comes with hard work and believing in yourself, believing that you can be whatever you want to be. Like,
there's a lot of persistence and perseverance. It takes a long time. Mm-hmm. What age were you when you kind of realized you were different? Like, how old were you when you were kind of looking around and maybe you lifted or did something and everyone was like, Whoa, like that was different. What's going on with this guy?
I never really thought about myself like I'm different or something, you know. I think
You didn't notice that you're a giant?
I mean, I know I'm a tall guy,
Yeah.
obviously, but I've never really, you know, I think we're all equal, you know, in
I guess you grew into this over a long period of time too.
yeah,
Like you've always been tall, I'm sure,
yeah.
but then the frame probably took a while to build.
I mean, I
right?
had to work very hard for my size and everything for the success I've had. You know, it's a lot of hours and you know, sweat, tears, and stuff that went into it. You know, it's something that wasn't given. Success is not given to anybody. You know, it's like I've said a billion times before. It's just being consistent. You know, being consistent. You know, and believing in yourself. Having the right support is also very important. You know, having the right people behind you. I have a very good team behind me, and I think that's also very very important to have the right people there.
You have training partners?
I have training partners. I have my own gym back in Iceland. Not a big gym, but very nice personal gym where I train with my friends. Stefán Sóli Peterson is Icelandic strongman who actually placed 4th place at the World's Strongest Man 2009. He is one of my training partners. He's also kind of like been my mentor in my career. He's taught me a lot. That guy as well. He's a great guy. We're great friends. We travel sometimes together and we train a lot together.
What about some of the other Icelandic guys? We get the chance to train with them, or what is we got like Benedict Magnusson and some of the Magnus for Magnusson and some of those guys?
Yeah, I've trained with them all. Benedict Magnusson lives now in the UK, so I can't train with him a lot.
What do you think about Benedict Magnusson? I mean, what a talented athlete! Like, holy shit, that guy was strong. You know, I don't know if he's still on the circuit in terms of competing in strongman and stuff anymore, but holy shit, man, that guy was one of the stronger people I've ever seen come along in the last 20, 30 years.
That guy is very, very, very talented, and he could do, like, he is so strong, and like I don't even think that he knows how strong he is.
Yeah.
He, like, if you put his mind to it, I think he could, do some crazy numbers.
I think he's like bench pressed like 600 pounds. He's squatted over 800 pounds, and obviously he has the biggest deadlift in powerlifting history.
Yeah.
He's just unbelievable, and I never seen calves like that before. He's just got those mutated calves.
He doesn't even train calves. That's the scary part.
Yeah, there's some talented people out there, and when you get into the World's Strongest Man, I mean, you're seeing, these guys they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more athletic too.
Mm-hmm.
People are able to move fast. They're able to move heavy weights around quickly. What do you think about the structure of World's Strongest Man? Do you think do you like the fact that a lot of times these weights are getting like these crazy numbers? Or do you think it would be better to see a more athletic approach where maybe the weights are a little lighter? Like say for example, on something like a yoke walk, say it's, 1,000 pounds or 1,200 pounds, and you get to see the guy go further, or you get to see the guys race with that weight, rather than, I think sometimes it's like 1,800 pounds or something like that. Or what do you think of some of those dynamics in there?
Yeah, I think, the guys are just getting stronger as well. It's we are, pushing the organs as well. We are lifting more,
So that's why they're making it more challenging, because everyone's getting so strong.
We're just getting stronger, and the level today is just insane. The guys are so strong. So it's getting out of hand for a lot of people, obviously, because the weights are just getting heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
But the guys are also getting stronger. I would like to see more movement in the sport, more like not as crazy heavy in some of the events, maybe.
Like, how much do you weigh?
I am right now like close to 185 kilograms.
And then when you compete, are you
I'm
200?
probably like 10 kilograms heavier.
Yeah.
Like maybe at my heaviest close to 200, and like maybe like 195 probably.
And so possibly if there was like more movement or more athleticism brought into the sport, maybe you could potentially weigh less on game day and maybe walk around healthier. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
you wouldn't have to compromise and get so large because the sport wouldn't require it as much.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
That's when I look at it. Those are the things I see. Like, I understand what they're trying to do, but sometimes when I see the yoke carry, and I know the guys are getting stronger, but I see it's like 1,800 pounds or whatever. I see somebody carry it and they stumble with it. They only move, and I say only, it's 1,800 pounds, but they only moved it a certain amount of feet. I think to the crowd, they don't understand.
They don't understand.
They don't understand. Like, I think they'd rather see you travel a little further with it. It might be more exciting if there was a little bit of a race with it or a medley, those kinds of things.
I do agree. It would be better to have maybe a bit lighter, so that it's more. Yeah, I do agree, but it's.
You just do what you got to do.
Yeah, just got to do what you got to do. We're all in it to be the best.
Right.
End of the day, I think we find the strongest man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's for sure. Something that people don't realize in strongman is the warm up. The warm up for these, stone lifts and the warm up, and World's Strongest Man. I'm sure that Arnold is set up as well as they can get those set up. But some competitions earlier in your career, sometimes to prepare for a stone lift, you might just lift a barbell a bunch of times, right? Because they don't have like extra stones, right? Sometimes the warm up is like unconventional and not really all that related. And you don't even know what the stones are going to feel like because they might be lopsided. People throw weights in the stones, like literal, like 45s and 25-pound plates in there on the amateur level to kind of create these certain weights, right?
Yeah, it hasn't been great in the past, with the equipment that we had, that we have access to, being able to get warmed up for the events. But it's getting better. It's getting better with Rogue Fitness. They are great, and they're always. They just signed this year. They partnered up with World's Strongest Man, and it got 10 times better.
That's great.
So it's getting better, but there's definitely room for they can improve it for sure.
What's something you would like to see the sport do? Because the sport's popular. It's on TV, but it's a great sport. There's probably still more room for the sport to even do better. What's something you would like to see the sport do?
I would like to see them for sure. The first thing that comes into my mind is that they would show it. I think I understand it's hard to show it live because it's over like few days.
Right.
But show it a week later would be fucking fantastic.
They show it like 3 months later.
They're too old school, and I think with today's social media and everything, they have to, step up their game and like
get it out sooner for sure.
Get it out sooner for sure. I think that would help the sport a lot, because people with the internet and everything today, people get the information a day later or just the same day even.
How did you get into strongman specifically?
I got into it just it's a couple of my friends were going to compete at Westfjord Viking back in Iceland, and I knew that I was stronger than them, so I decided that I wanted to give it.
Let me show you how this is done.
Yeah, I just I wanted to try something out new. I was very lost in my life at that point. I was 20 years old, didn't really know what I was doing. just training. Like I was very lost, So I wanted to try something new. Tried strongman out, fell in love with it straight away, and been in it since. And it it definitely has changed my life. At the time I was working, in clubs as a security guy, fucking terrible job. But I'm happy where I'm today.
Yeah, that job's the worst, being like a bouncer.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, working nights like that and all that kind of stuff. So you're involved in some. You got some sponsorship. You got Rogue Fitness, I believe, right?
Yep.
And then did you create like a bar with them, or you made a product with them?
Yeah,
perhaps?
power bar. I
Yeah.
have a power bar and the Thor hat I'm wearing now. I have a couple of T-shirts with them as well. And I'm sponsored with SBD as well. They're one of my sponsors. And Noon, like a hydration
Yeah, the hydration tablets. I love those things.
Yeah,
It tastes great.
those are great. I just signed with them. Great company. Something like all of my companies that I'm working with are companies that I'm very proud to be with.
Yeah.
I try to pick. There's obviously a lot of different companies trying to reach out and they want to sponsor me. But I've learned throughout my career that I need companies that I believe in myself.
Right.
Something that I can promote without like feeling that I'm forced to, like I'm proud of, that I use Noon hydration, it's something that keeps me hydrated and healthy throughout the day and years, and I'm, proud to be working with Rogue Fitness, great company, great people behind it, and as well as SBD, great things they're doing,
With the Noon tablet, that was actually Stan Efferding's first introduction to hydration.
Yeah.
Because Jesse Burdick and myself, we were at a meet that Stan was competing in, and Stan was going to give up. Like he was just dehydrated. He wasn't feeling good. He already is very pale, but he turned even whiter than he already is, and he was just looking sick. I mean, he just was not looking good. And I was like, man, I think, I said, what have you been drinking? And he's like, been drinking tons of water, and then I had a lot of Gatorade. And I'm like, man, like that's the water dehydrates you and pulls out a lot of electrolytes.
Yes, with Gatorade, the Gatorade's not good, man.
And I said, Gatorade's not good either because it's giving you a lot of sugar. And in order to keep up with that amount of sugar and that amount of carbohydrates, then you need X amount more water. And we don't have time to replace all that. And so I said, here, try these. These have got sodium, potassium, calcium. He sucked down a bunch of those, got back out on the platform, and the rest is history. Ended up breaking some world records that day.
Fantastic.
But he was going, he was on his way to the hospital. Mm-hmm. He was like, I'm going to the ER. And I said, no, this is not the way powerlifting works. I said, we leave the numbers in. Mm-hmm. We've still got a deadlift. I said, just if you still don't feel good in a little bit, then I agree with you. Yeah. Let's get the hell out of here because we got to be smart. But drink this and relax. And he did, and he was able to come back stronger than ever. Now he's promoting everybody to dump salt in their drinks and salt their food and everything like that. Is there any other business stuff that you're involved in other than your career acting stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, I have my own gym back in Iceland, Thor's Power Gym. Which people can come in and buy day passes, but it's kind of private gym. But you can come and train if you want to. With we have to find the time together so they can come. And I have my own spirit. I have my own Icelandic mountain vodka and an Icelandic Eagle Gin. It's called Icelandic Mountain Spirit. Company that I started with a couple of my friends. Mm-hmm. It's been growing throughout the years. It's not an old company, but it's been growing. It's a fun project that I started with a few of my friends. And
cool. Are you excited about that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
passionate about learning business and things like that?
I am. It's something that I am for sure.
That's cool.
And we are now in a couple of different, places. We just like not too long ago, we got into a Costco in the UK.
That's great.
Trying still to get into the States. It's hopefully soon, but we are, getting wider and wider.
It's water basically. Is that what you said?
It's vodka. Vodka and
vodka.
gin. Yeah,
Vodka.
sorry.
Vodka. That changes everything.
Yeah, it's it doesn't keep you hydrated.
Right.
But it's good before sleep.
You should watch the Ronnie Coleman documentary if you haven't seen it already.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix and on iTunes, and there's a good vodka story in there.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's great.
You've seen it, yeah. So he has like those shots of vodka, and then he gets back on stage the next day, and he's just all jacked because it actually helped dehydrate him a little bit, to help pull some of the
I heard that story. It's great.
Help pull some of the water off him and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so with your acting career, what's going on with that? What you got going on?
I just finished filming season 8 with Game of Thrones, and I have got different opportunities with filming lately, but with my career, it's hard to take big roles because it's like let's say if I'm filming for 3-4 months straight, 12 hours a day, like it's impossible for me to become the best.
It goes against some of your main goal, which is continuing to be the world's strongest.
I want to defend my title. Like I'm 29 years old now, and I want to defend my title. So you have to make choices. Like I'm here today in LA because I'm working here in a commercial. I do travel quite a bit, doing different things, doing commercial, which doesn't take too much of my time, but I still have to make a living.
A commercial is just maybe 2 or 3 days worth of work, something like that. It's not nearly the commitment of a movie. I think we got to get you in a action movie, like Against the Rock. You could be like the main bad guy. How do we do that? Well, who do we got to talk to?
Maybe The Rock. I don't know. In the future,
I mean, you got to be able to beat him up. I mean, he's pretty big and strong, but he's not the world's strongest man.
Exactly. But with him in it, you probably think that he would probably beat me up.
That's true. Did you see I think I saw you boxing not too long ago, and then did you do some stuff with Conor McGregor a while back?
Yeah, a good friend of mine back in Iceland. He was a professional boxer, and sometimes we play around together.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, now that I think about it, I think it was you. And I remember watching it, and like you guys were going at it. It didn't look like playing around. It looked like you guys were going at it pretty good.
Yeah, that's a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
where me and my friend were just playing around, but it went pretty serious.
Well, I was watching it, and I was like, this is really crazy to see, how well you're moving and stuff and throwing these punches. But then I started noticing the other guy, and I'm like, he's in there with a savage. Like, this guy's a pro. And you guys were going back and forth, but then he was kind of getting the better of you just because that's what he does. Right?
Yeah. He is, and he's big as well. He's a tall guy, and he weighs, I use kg. He's probably close to 140, like 300 pounds. So
you guys got to watch it on YouTube.
He's a big guy as well.
It gets intense.
So it's we got a little bit intense. Yeah.
How did Conor McGregor do against you?
Yeah, it was so funny. I was filming in Belfast with Game of Thrones, and a friend of mine, Gunnar Nelson, was in Dublin with Conor McGregor. They were training for fight together. He was preparing himself against Aldo. The great
Jose
fight.
Aldo, yeah.
Yeah, great fight. He knocked him out in like 2 seconds.
Right.
So I was talking to Gunnar and I asked him if he could come and watch the session, because they were training very hard for this competition. So me and my friend, we drove over, went and watched the session, and it wasn't planned, and we just in the heat we took some pictures, and then we were just joking around, and somehow we got started, and we were just sparring. I was wearing socks and jeans, so you can definitely see it wasn't planned.
Right.
It was just like two guys with full of testosterone jogging around.
That's cool. What do you got coming up next, strongman wise? Any competitions coming up?
Yeah, I have one competition coming up in October. It's a new competition in Dubai. There's I think all of the big guys are competing at. Yeah, so I'm training for that right now.
Do you have to have like one other competition in there at least once a year to be able to do the Arnold and to be able to do the World's Strongest Man? Like maybe you don't need to qualify necessarily, but you need to tune up a little bit, or no? Or you just like to do it because you like to do it?
I like to do to keep myself motivated, to keep myself to have some goals, right now I'm preparing myself for this show, so it's good. It keeps me on the point. It keeps me eating my 6 meals a day. It keeps me on a training schedule, even though I'm busy.
Is there any variables with your food? Is there any variables with your diet? Like, are you able to just like eat a pizza here and there, or have some ice cream, or are you pretty just?
I'm pretty consistent, but like maybe once a week I give myself a space, if that, it depends. If I feel like I want to, I give myself a little bit of space, and I have myself a pizza or a burger or whatever.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Probably steak and rice, to be honest with you.
What do they have in Iceland that they don't have here that you really like? Is there any sort of specific meals or anything like that you like over there?
Well, you guys have basically everything that we have.
That's true.
But we have, I like our lamb. Our Icelandic lamb is pretty unique and good. Nowhere else in the world I think it tastes as good as in Iceland.
Very cool. Well, it was amazing having you on the show. I thank you so much. I mean, I can't even begin to express in words. It means a lot that you took the time to come here. I know that you're really busy. You're down here shooting a commercial. You're in television. You're in movies. You're the world's strongest man. Congratulations on that. That is really unbelievable, and I'm sure you'll be battling right with some of the best again this year, and at the Arnold as well. Congratulations and good luck with everything. Strength is never weakness, and weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of fun.
Awesome.